Show. It's the Pod Show.
Hello. Just had to count us in.
Oh.
You get it?
Just like, I got a really good bit to start us off. 1, 2, 3. I can't like.
Should've gone 4, 3. In really good audio format. Intro.
I wish I had an extra arm so I could like hold my coffee, hold my microphone.
and hit the soundboard.
Yeah.
Hey, look, that's why you gotta use what you got given, you know?
But there's so much like.
What mug are you drinking out of today?
I'm drinking out of the solar system mug.
Damn, you tell them to bring out the whole solar system.
There's so many mic stands in this house. We could
Cat
like.
mug.
Huh?
I said I got cat mug.
Oh, nice. That's cute as hell.
We used to do we used to mic stand it, but then we were like, let's just fucking
hold them.
Holding is a kind of, it feels freeing, you know?
Yeah. One would say it's restrictive.
You feel the opposite. I understand. I understand.
I'm gonna roll disadvantage on this bitch now.
Oh god,
I
don't
only
get me
got 2
started.
hands. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Welcome to the new studio, I guess. We both live with a TH.
Yeah, we live together now.
Yeah, we lithin. This is lithin.
We've returned to our
Return. What's the? I'm trying to think. It's like a show or a movie or something called Return to Something. Return to Center by Kieran J. Callanan. I remember that one.
Return of the King by.
Yeah, there we go. That's good. No, we're back.
We're back living together
Yes.
after a long time away.
And Maddie and Diego still live here as well. So basically, we can just do podcasts whenever we want.
Yeah.
But this is the first one we've done.
Whenever we want. Oh my god.
We're unstoppable. And yeah, we move into this place. The address is.
Don't.
Hey, that's big man. I'm joking. But we're in Earlwood, God's country.
Yeah, we're in the great county of Earlwood, which is part of the Kingdom of Glebe and also King's Cross.
Like, how is that? Like, can you explain this to me? I thought we were in the Canterbury Bankstown Kingdom. Kingdom of Canterbury Bankstown.
Well, that's actually, since Earlwood is a Duchy of Canterbury Bankstown, that means that Canterbury Bankstown is part of the great holding kingdom of Glebe, which is also King's Cross.
What? What? I'll repeat.
Don't worry.
What?
Just trust me. Okay. Oh,
jeez.
that was.
Me after any given shit.
That was me this morning.
No, how have you been adjusting to living with people again?
Very well.
Yeah, nice.
Surprisingly well. I was saying before, when I lived on my own for like 3 years, I would I loved nothing more than getting home after any social event, after any, just going to the shops, anywhere that was like outside. I would come home and sit down on the couch and no one would be home. It would be just me, and I'd be like, oh yeah.
And now that happens here anyway.
And now it happens here. But the difference is, when I get home and there's no one here, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, true. Can we expect people to
I miss my friends.
Nah, we're all...
And the cats don't count.
Nah, they don't.
They're not
They can't
real
speak
people.
to you. They can't have a chat with you.
Yeah, well, Tony
does.
can speak to you, but I don't really care what he has to say.
Oh, well, yeah, I know what he has to say.
Yeah.
Please, food?
Food?
Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
He was like, I was just making a coffee and I was putting the grounds in the bin. And he's like looking over the side of the bench into the bin like,
It's heaven.
it's like, what is blood looking at? There's only paper and coffee grounds in there.
He just knows that's where we put like food waste, so he's like intrigued. He's like, ooh.
You know who else can waste food?
You're wasting food for real? No. Yeah. Are you enjoying the cats?
Can I be perfectly honest?
Yeah.
I don't like cats.
At all?
No. Not really.
No. Fair enough.
Look, it'd be different if they were my pets before.
Yeah.
But it's like going to it's like other people's kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's different.
No, I know what you mean.
You know, I like Carly, but Carly doesn't like me. So
Such is life. At least she doesn't really bother you, but
yeah.
she kind of stays in her room and sleeps all day.
Except when they like piss on my bed.
Oh yeah, I mean that happens sometimes. That has happened.
So they happened once.
That's unlucky. It's never happened to me before.
Yeah, it only happened once, but it happened twice. You know, like there were 2 piss on the bed.
2 piss piles.
2 piss on the bed.
They pissed on my bath mat once. That's about it. And it was all like, it was just like, what's that yellow shit in my bath mat? And I was like, oh,
that's piss.
Well, I guess I'll throw that in the washing machine.
I mean, Carly had a hairball this morning.
Yeah,
with some of my plant that's in my room in it. But somehow she also managed to spew on the wall. It was like waist height on the wall. How did she do that? What? It's fucking gross as hell.
Built different, bro. I don't know how she does it. Yeah, it is gross as hell. You're right. But you know, cats are interesting creatures. Oh yeah, bring that forward. Explore. Like I said.
Hey, the big man's back.
I hit a little.
Damn, he did like a
double.
Hey, the big man's back.
double stroke. I didn't do it at all.
It's got to be like real quick, I think.
Can't really tell that one. How did you fucking do that?
You can't hesitate. You got to
I didn't get enough like.
It's all in the wrist. It's all in the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. Ready?
Bring back the fucking Quaaludes.
You'd be a good drummer.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Wait, can I have my sticks?
Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh god, he's gonna go full. He's gonna go sicko mode.
I gotta hold on to him like this.
He's about to do a paradiddle.
Bring back the fucking Quaaludes.
He's got that natural reverb going. That natural delay. Ooh, he's exploring.
Hey, I didn't dog the shot.
Oh god.
Hey, I didn't dog the shot.
Oh my god.
Oh. Hang on.
Wow, good
Wait.
timing.
Yeah.
Incredible. Wait, do a
Sydney.
do a double on that one. I think that'll be funny. It'll be like. It's not really doing it.
Doesn't really work.
Yeah. What's this one?
Okay, alright.
Alright, I'm gonna try this one as well. Good old soundboard. We've missed
Good
you.
little soundboard.
Good little soundboard. I wonder if we've got more use out of this than Diego has yet.
Yeah, maybe we should like just buy him out.
Yeah, it'd be like, how much for the soundboard, buddy? I mean, the SPD. Oh, man.
Excuse
So-
me. I got a joke for you.
Okay,
Just
hit me.
because we haven't done one of these in a while. I almost forgot like all the bits we do.
You've been saving up.
I actually haven't, but this one hits.
Okay.
Okay.
Hit me with it.
I'm pretty sure I've told it to you before, but you just have to pretend like you've
Alright.
never heard it before.
Alright, I'll be oblivious.
How does a cat order a steak? Medium rare?
Yeah, you definitely have told me that. But I remember like when you told me it, I was like, it's gonna be like medium rare or something like that. And then you said it, I was like, what? I didn't really think it was actually gonna be that. I thought it was gonna be something else.
Yeah.
I thought, nah, that's too silly. That can't be that. But it's pretty,
it's
pretty
that.
funny. It's all about the delivery, you know.
Yeah.
If you
It's
deliver it
all
well,
in the delivery.
yeah, you can't be like medium rare.
Medium. It's like, how's the cat order say? Medium rare?
yeah, like
Fucking lame.
lame,
Boo.
boo. But
My fly's undone. Hold on. come in. Don't come in.
Open up your fly. So, what else? I mean, that's basically what we've been up to.
Yeah.
Oh no, we've been playing a game.
Oh, hell, we've been playing a game. We've been playing a little game called Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3.
You know, I was thinking about this last night when you didn't want to record the podcast at midnight. I was like...
Sorry. Look, all you need to know is we live together now, so, like, the possibility is not of that.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. I could definitely be swindled any other day of the week.
All right.
But
Good to know.
But not this week, all right? Just
Yeah.
I've got a hectic week, all right?
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking about how this podcast started. And we're like, yeah, it's going to be like, comes off the main plug show, like which is a very focused interview type scenario. It's real tight, you know. There's no space for mucking around.
in the normal episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And then it was going to, you know, the guests could come in if they wanted to. It's gone from that to just us talking to each other without any outside involvement.
The whole guest coming in part was like cool at first, but it was just like impossible in like, you know,
Yeah.
in finality. Like we tried it, which is all that matters, you know. We gave it a rattle crack, and we had some good episodes with some guests.
We did, yeah.
We did the first ever cast pod with Lockie Pringle. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, true.
And I remember the Keen's Mustard one because that was like the first one. That was
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's too hard to be like, Jack, do you mind coming in at 10 p.m?
And I'm like, yes, honey. It went from that to just us talking to each other to just us talking to each other about video games.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, I guess people listen to it for a reason, so they must be happy with it.
Yeah, like, I mean, go and listen to another podcast who don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fuck it out. Yeah. Hey, get that one up.
Hey,
you
get the
listener.
fuck out of here. Take two of these and call me in the morning.
Nice. No, but
Baldur's Gate 3.
yes, Baldur's Gate 3.
Have you been playing it, viewer?
No, why not?
It's really good.
Yeah, you should play it. You should get it.
It's a game by Larian Studios, who did Divinity Original Sin 2, which is another game that we love.
Probably like one of my favorite games.
Yeah,
Like,
I tend to agree.
At least one of the best games I've played recently. But
Yeah.
I wonder how it'll hold up in my rankings. But I still haven't finished that.
Me either.
It's like
Really, I couldn't finish it.
it's hard.
Yeah, well, it's hard, and it also is kind of dragging at this point in the game.
Absolutely. I think it feels like it's just a bit too long. You know.
There's a lot of game there.
But I mean, I guess it's like a Larian Studio thing because I mean, not that I've gotten that far into Baldur's Gate. You've definitely gotten further than me. Thanks, Jack, for letting me play on your PC. By the way.
Yeah, Joss is like, it's not out on Mac yet for another month, maybe. So we've worked out a system where when I'm away at work, you're playing.
Yeah, it's just kind of convenient that our work schedules like unalign.
Yeah.
So whenever you happen to be at work, I'm not at work because I work in the Arvos. You work in the mornings.
And you're like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah, it's never like,
And I'm
you want to hang
thinking,
out?
Oh, like, I'm going to work, but like we could hang out after. And you're like,
Have fun at work, sucker. No, but like, you know, I'm just excited to play Baldur's Gate. It's really fun.
yeah.
And you know, nothing you can do about different work schedules, is it?
Yeah, nothing I can do, I guess.
Let's just get a different job, bro.
It's like, maybe, to my knowledge, the first, like, I don't know if it's AAA. Larian Studios are an indie studio. Like AA.
What does AAA mean?
AAA just means like big studios.
Gotcha.
Like Ubisoft,
What's the
Activision, Bethesda.
They just
etc.
released a new song, didn't a new song?
A new song.
I love that new song by Bethesda. Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield is
Woo!
out now.
It's like $130 or something.
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think, like, I'm not going to buy it, even if I was really excited for it, purely based off like
The price, yeah.
price gouging alone.
I think once it's obviously, if it ever goes down in price, maybe I'll get it. But
It will. I think it will. If it does really well, it will stay at that price for a long time. But Fallout 76.
sorry, I'm just,
Fallout 76 is like so cheap now, and it has been out for like 2 years
yeah. I mean,
because it fucking sucks ass.
every like, I guess you could say AAA, like Bethesda or Rockstar kind of game. Like I played Red Dead 2, I played Skyrim. I got them all for like a fraction of the price. I'm guessing they were originally worth it, you know what I mean?
Even GTA 5,
Yeah,
which has
like-
been out for more than 10 years, is still like pretty much full price.
Yeah. I guess it's because of the demand, you know? They don't have to lower the price because people are willing to pay that much for it, you know?
Yeah, well, the GTA Online is what pushes the sales, I think.
Yeah,
like
cool.
it's a live service that they're always updating and that people pour heaps of money into.
I never got GTA Online. Like
It was kind of just stupid fun.
I like, I don't know. I used to play it sometimes when I would go over to friends' places when I was in like late primary, early high school. And I was always just like, I don't understand this game. You just go to strip clubs and beat people up. Like, like what's the point?
Yeah, but now it's like people have like flying cars.
Yeah, and they record it and put on TikToks and then,
Yeah, and like make hard as fuck edits.
But like I played like a little bit of the story, like when I first got my PlayStation a couple years ago, and then I was genuinely like, this is awesome. Like the story is like really good. Like I only like played like maybe 3 hours of it, but like I was like, this is pretty entertaining, you know what I mean?
Sometimes I watch, like I just finished Better Call Saul. Sometimes like the scenes in that show, it's like you've just walked into the like quest giver's house in GTA 5 and then they like, you have a little cutscene and then you leave and go and do the mission.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like in Baldur's Gate when like, you know, there's going to be a cutscene because everyone just stops for about 3
Yeah,
seconds.
it's
you know,
kind of like, it's pretty janky.
yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3.
There's a few things in Baldur's Gate that I've noticed are a bit buggy or janky or whatever. But like for the most part, it's a pretty smooth playing experience, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, it's kind of like so sick how they just, you know, oh my god, they made D&D a real thing. Can
Yeah,
you
that's
believe
what
it?
I was gonna say that before. Like, to my knowledge, it's like the first real D&D video game
Which is,
that captures like the D&D playing experience, you know?
yeah, and I think it's honestly going to help D&D a lot in terms of like, I don't know, interest, I suppose.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
people are into D&D now. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just for like the nerds anymore, because like all the nerds are like sexy now. You know?
yes,
You know what I mean?
nerds are now sexy.
It's not for like the underground like cavern dweller needs anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty mainstream these days, I guess.
Yeah, like Critical Role did a lot to like bring D&D to like a big audience.
Yeah.
Like they are massive now.
And you had like the D&D movie come out recently as well.
True.
which,
I
like,
forgot about that.
Isn't really like, I mean, like, obviously it's a movie, so it's not really like, you know, same mechanics as normal D&D, but it's like the same world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like
And like, I'm gonna sneeze.
bless you.
Baby sneeze after. Fuck. But yeah, like it's not like the same, like it's not like you're playing the game, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I think just the fact
It's
that
still
how it's
just-
branded and how it's like set and stuff like that, like
Well-
it's using all the buzzwords, like, oh, we're on the Sword Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, people who don't know see or they hear Dungeons and Dragons and they just think like just like fantasy. You know.
Which is pretty, like, to me, like, I think you would include sort of Tolkien in, like, the conversation of, like, what is the most, like, you know, defining, like, I guess, how am I
Like
trying to
genre
word this?
defining.
Yeah, I guess, like, what form of media best, like, describes fantasy?
Yeah, like what is the visual language? Like where does it come from?
Like, when I think fantasy these days, I think, like, yeah, Lord of the Rings, and I think D&D, you know?
Yeah.
Like, those are, like,
Yeah.
the two things that come to my brain.
I wonder when was like Lord of the Rings written?
Like 50s, maybe even
Okay.
earlier. I don't really remember. I
And
wasn't there.
when was like
I must have missed that one. I was busy that
Shit,
day.
sorry, I wasn't there. Where?
Recording, sorry. I'll get paranoid sometimes. Yeah, we're good. For 21 minutes. There you go.
Cool.
What's the time? Have you got the time? Sorry.
Look, if I had an extra hand, I could tell you.
Just
No, look, I'll do this. Ready? And I can even do it while I'm talking.
while you're talking. Oh, so we have time.
Anyway, can we have some?
Giant enemy crab.
So what were you talking about? D&D.
When did D&D? When was it first published? In like the 70s?
Like, oh yeah, I'd say like late 60s, early 70s. I think
We don't have to speculate. We can.
we have the internet. Holy
we can look it
fuck!
up.
And
Just keep the guests entertained while I look this up.
but yeah, I mean, I guess the point we're making is like, I guess like these are like the oldest, I guess, forms of fantasy. I guess you can consider like H.P. Lovecraft, but like it's like
1974.
there you go. But like to me, it's like H.P. Lovecraft isn't exactly like fantasy. It's more like horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like it's still got fantasy.
fantastical elements.
Fantastical.
I think,
That's the word.
well, even in D&D, like I think, well, what could D&D have drawn on for its inspiration?
I mean,
like Tolkien.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like
Honestly-
there would have been more fantasy fiction back in the day.
Yeah.
Like even Dune. You know,
Yeah, for sure. I'm reading that just because the June books are right in
Yeah.
front of us.
holding the camera up.
Shout out June.
Thanks, Frank. Even in D&D, like there's Lovecraftian
Yeah, exactly.
content, you know,
like the mind flayers. Like
that's straight up just Cthulhu.
yeah, pretty
you know?
much. Which is pretty cool. you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, I guess that's why. But like it is interesting, like you said, like how it's become like more mainstream, I guess. Because I don't know. I guess people are more into like that kind of like it's more normalized this day. It's not like, oh, you play D&D, you're a fucking nerd, you know?
Yeah,
Give me your lunch money.
yeah. The Mimic was originally a D&D thing,
Yeah.
and then like I think most people associate it with like Dark Souls, like as an enemy in the Dark Souls games, which are also fantasy.
Yeah.
You know,
Dark Souls is like, I think we're having this conversation with Gabe the other day, but it's kind of like its own genre now, which is pretty cool.
it's like its own genre of video game for sure.
But like in terms of like content, I guess it's very inspired.
Yeah, it's like dark fantasy, like ruined castles and that kind of visual identity is very much like dark fantasy, low fantasy, you would say.
Yes. It's a cool aesthetic, that's for sure. And like, I don't know, I guess that's why Baldur's Gate is so appealing, is because it hits a lot of different marks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got that like kind of like low dark fantasy when you go to like the Underdark. I mean, I haven't done that part yet, but I can already guess it's like, yeah, there's some weird shit there, you know? Like
Yeah.
some weird motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's pretty dark, I would say.
It's also just like the freedom of that game in like that, you know, and any, I guess, sort of, you know, thingy that you can think of doing is probably, you're probably able to do it, you know, if you
Yeah.
just work out how to, you know?
Yeah, it lets you be real creative, and Divinity was like that as well.
Yes.
There's a lot you can interact with in the environment, and because they give you like the D&D moveset, like you can jump around, you can push things around, not just as like what the game gives you mechanics for as a player, but like as like that's, if it's trying to be like D&D, it's drawn that straight out of like the tabletop games.
Yeah, exactly.
So everything just like works really naturally together, which is just like, it just makes so much sense. Like it took this long for somebody to do it. I think there is the Pathfinder games, and there were the old Baldur's Gate games as well, and they played Baldur's Gate 2. But
You did play Baldur's Gate 2?
yeah,
I did see that on your desktop. I was confused. I was like, is this Baldur's Gate 2 or 3?
yeah, it's a little bit like old. Not that like that means it's bad. I'm sort of more drawn towards like older RPGs these days, but it's not anything like Baldur's Gate 3.
Gotcha.
It's much more like like to just look at it, looks like Diablo or something.
Yeah, sweet. I've always wanted to play Diablo as well. New Diablo came out recently, didn't it?
Yeah, it's also really expensive.
Oh, true. fuck.
What the fuck is up with games and the inflation these days?
I mean, what's the fuck up with anything and inflation these days, bro?
I know. It feels real artificial in video games, though, for some reason.
I know what you mean. It's because it's like...
They hire these massive studios to, like... and
It doesn't feel like the content you're getting is any more expensive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like just as good, or if not worse, than, like, previous installments.
Yes.
I think that's the worst part about it, is you're like, well, what's the point of spending more money
Like-
if I've already played this game, but better?
Big AAA games these days are, like, so over bloated with, like... with like they're obsessed with being like perfect looking.
Yes.
And that's one thing, but they're also marketed so heavily. Like I see Diablo 4 posters on fucking like buses.
Yeah,
you
I know
know
what you mean.
And it seems like the only games at nowadays, and it's most AAA games that are putting these out, that are like generally accepted by the public to be like critical successes. If they're trying to appeal to a large market, like people who haven't played games for a long time, or haven't played many video games, or they see like things like God of War and The Last of Us, and they're more cinematic experiences than anything.
Yes.
And they're still video games, like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, why are those the only games that big AAA companies are interested in making, these like big cinematic experiences?
I did see a lot of like not like pushback, but like sort of, I think I can't remember who said it, but it was like some big game company were like, oh, you can't expect every game to be like Baldur's Gate 3, you know, because they went like above and beyond and all this stuff.
It was Bethesda.
Was it? There you go.
Bethesda said something very similar to like, because like people who are the gamers are pushing back on this like trend that it has been going on for ages. Like before this trend, it was open world games. Everyone was making open world games, and a lot of people still are. But now people are like, it's like, we don't want to play a movie. We want to play a video game. We want it to be fun. Like games can just be like a toy. They don't have to be like works of art. Even though I love those games as well. But,
well, I mean, like, you know,
I think what they're talking about is, sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's all right. Keep going.
I'm cooking.
Let him cook.
Pete Hines is the he's not like the creative director of Bethesda. He's like the he's the
shitter, bro.
like business CEO. I don't know, production director or something like that. He's like,
he gets it done.
He's like, we can't just like, you can't just say like make better games.
Yeah.
For some reason.
But like,
it's like, but you literally just can't.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's the thing I think I love most about that discussion is like, they're like, oh, you can't expect every game to be this. Like, it's like, why the fuck not?
Why not? Yeah, like the video games now are like $1 billion industry, like multi-billion dollars.
And it's been like what, 5 years since Larian dropped Divinity. So I guess you could say Baldur's Gate's probably been in development for about that long, if not a little bit longer. So like 5, 6, 7 years maybe.
Yeah, well, it's been, Larian are like sort of, people are sort of putting Baldur's Gate on a bit of a pedestal. Like, look, big companies can still make really good games, and like you can have a massive like polished AAA experience, quote unquote, you know, but they're good to their staff. It's like it's not a toxic work environment. They're free from crunch. They and they still put out like a really great quality product that you would sort of more expect to come out of like a more dedicated, smaller indie studio.
And the fact that they, you know, were able to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna. Well, I don't know if it will really change the game industry or anything like that.
I mean, I don't think it will.
But I think it's gonna be like a bit of a wake-up call for a lot of like big studios to be like, you know, maybe we should be putting a bit more effort into our games so that like, you know, we get the same reception as Baldur's Gate has. Because I don't think I've talked to anyone that's like, this game's kind of shit, you know, like about Baldur's Gate. I think it's a pretty general consensus that it's a pretty great game. Like, it's not perfect by any means, but like,
no, I don't think it's perfect. It has a lot of the same problems that Divinity has.
Yeah, like the UI is definitely better, but still a bit clunky. You know? Like especially like the inventory and stuff like that. But
if you're playing on console, I imagine it would be a nightmare.
Yeah. But like, you know, I think it's less about like the specifics, you know what I mean, and more about the big picture of it, like being such a successful game that is unlike, you know, anything that's ever been done before. And it's like, oh, cool. So something like this can be done.
Yeah.
So now I guess people have that sort of fire underneath them, like the big studios. Like, I mean, I'm interested to see how Starfield goes.
I've heard lots of mixed things about Starfield.
Because, you know, that's like the first, I guess, like big game that's come out since. And
Well,
like, I think there's like a lot of pressure for it to live up to like the hype of a Baldur's Gate now. And like every other game following, like, you can imagine like GTA 6, it's like it's going to have to be pretty damn good. Like,
I think anything Bethesda puts out now is under like heavy scrutiny.
Yeah, I mean,
because they fumbled it big time in the last like 10 years. Like their last good game was Skyrim.
yeah. What have they dropped since then?
Since Skyrim, they put out Fallout 4,
which wasn't
Fallout 76, and then like the Elder Scrolls Online has been like ongoing since like 2014.
Which no one.
And it's bad.
Yeah, as I say, no one really likes Elder Scrolls Online.
It's bad.
I
imagine it would be better like if you had a group of friends to play with all the time and you bought every expansion, but I didn't like it.
I see it at the shops for like $9 all the time. Which like that's just telling, you know? It's like what I was saying before. Like, you know, good games are still priced pretty high, whereas like, you know,
shit games aren't.
Exactly.
Well, that's like the base game for Elder Scrolls Online is really cheap.
Yeah.
Like you can actually
you have to get expansions.
You can actually play it for free, like just the base game, but it's garbage with the base game.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have no interest. I'm obviously excited for Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, whenever that comes out.
Exactly, it's like when. And I mean, like, I would play Starfield if it just wasn't such a, you know, it's like I don't have anything to play it on, you know, like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you have to get like a next gen console or a PC, and both are like fucking pretty expensive these days.
Yeah.
Like, I got my PS4 for like $200. I was like, you know, cheering. I was like, hell yeah, $200. And like, I'm like, that beats the like, you know, $450 I would have had to pay retail for it. It's like, now it's like, oh, PS5's $900.
Yeah.
Where did the price go up? So like, where did that come from, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you get it like with a PC, but it's because you're paying for like, you know, quality, you know what you're getting because like you can build it yourself, you can like really customize it and stuff like that. It's like PS5, I bet in like 5-6 years time it's going to be like outdated just like the PS4 is now, you know.
Well, the PS4
lasted
it's
a
only
while.
just starting to sort of become a little bit outdated for like most big releases.
Yeah, I think when I got it in 2019 it was still like pretty good, and especially for that price point, you know, because new games were still coming out in PS4. But like the last like new game I got on PS4 was God of War Ragnarok, which was originally supposed to be just a PS5 release, but I think because no one had a PS5, they had to kind of drop it on PS4.
Yeah.
Otherwise they wouldn't have had as many sales as they could have had, which I don't know, that's telling, is it not?
Yeah, I think the PS5 the release of the PS5 has probably sold more PS4s.
Sure, yeah, I feel that.
Because like the PS5 came out, there's nothing to play on it. People are just going to keep playing their PS4.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like not so like sell more PS4s, but continue the lifespan of the PS4. Like when I bought my PS4 ages ago, I got them when they came out.
And was it a similar thing? Like there was nothing on PS4?
There was like 2 games that I played and a bunch of like shit indie releases that they always package with new consoles.
Like the Little Big Planet, bro? Remember that?
Man, the Little Big Planet 2, fun as hell.
Yeah.
The one they put out for PS4. I was playing my PS3 for like another 5 years before
crazy.
I really started to like fully switch over.
Yeah, like I guess it just goes to show. And I feel like we're now finally kind of entering the stage of like, oh, I can't get this game on PS4. Like Jedi Survivor, I wanted to play, but I can't get it on PS4. And
yeah.
Now Starfield's out, can't get it on PS4. Like it's
the new Armored Core game.
It's starting to get to the point where it's like, oh, like you need to get a next gen console, which I mean it sucks, but
it's like
at the same time, like when that stage finally arrives, like you're saying, that's when the consoles start to get cheaper.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, they've been out for like what? How long has the PS5 been out for now? Like 2 years, 3 years?
3 years.
That's crazy. So like, you know, the price point's going to start going down at some point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially for like used ones. Like I'm sure you could get a used PS5 for maybe like $500-$600. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but
No, it'll be like that eventually.
yeah.
It's just the console generations are getting shorter and shorter now. That's why I just decided to get a PC.
Yeah, I think exactly like it's like I was saying before. It's like the PC is never going to be outdated.
You kind of pay for like future proofing. Like people in like PC like communities don't really believe in future proofing.
Yeah, PC 2 isn't going to come out anytime soon.
But they say like even if you buy like the like most U-Butte hardware, like you get the latest graphics cards, etc., like it will be outdated.
Yeah.
Or like it will be superseded within like 8 months.
Yeah, gotcha.
So you can't really do future proofing, but like those same people don't go outside. So I don't care.
What's the time? Can you check that old watch of yours? I have a work meeting at midday, hence why I'm asking. Okay, we have to finish up in the next 5 minutes, guys.
Okay.
But
I wanted to talk
conclusions.
about Bethesda a little bit more.
Here we go.
And I'll try and make it like succinct.
Yeah, sure.
So like we were talking the other day about how like From Software and the Dark Souls games, they've kind of become their own genre.
Yes.
Within like the Metroidvania action RPG genre, there's like the Souls-like is now its own thing with lots of imitators, but none of them. I've never played one that I've been like, oh, this is actually like really good, or it does something structurally like different to Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring.
Sure.
That makes it.
What about like
better.
Fallen Order? I mean, I guess it's not better, but I still love that game.
I liked it, but like
I had like a lot of fun playing it.
But like play Sekiro
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
and get back to me.
I do have Sekiro. So
The Bethesda RPG is like its own thing.
yeah, cool.
It's like Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind to a lesser extent. They kind of spawned this like new open world genre. I think that is where the obsession with open world games came from. Is from like Oblivion,
Skyrim,
Morrowind.
and Oblivion, for sure.
But they're like these big toy boxes that like, yeah, you can go anywhere and like do anything. That's like what the buzzwords are, but like only the first part is like really true.
Yeah, gotcha.
You can like see a mountain, yeah, you can climb it, but like there's nothing to do up there.
That's
really.
what you're saying, yeah.
And people like them. Like and I'm not saying there's like bad writing and bad quests. There is in Skyrim, but like I think the things that make up an RPG in my mind are like mostly absent from Bethesda RPGs.
I see.
Which makes it hard for me to go back to them.
Yeah, I get you.
Because like I don't really get a kick out of just like walking around.
I love Skyrim as well. Like,
yeah.
But like, it's like now that you've played different games that are like Skyrim, but just like infinitely better in terms of like combat, in terms of story.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I ever go back?
Yeah.
Except for like nostalgia, you know?
Yeah. And I'm not trying to like shit on Skyrim. Like I'm not trying to be a hater.
I think,
I'm just saying like,
but you could use that classic argument of like, we couldn't have had Baldur's Gate 3 without Skyrim, bro. You know, like that.
yeah, well, we couldn't
Have had the Oasis without the Beatles, man.
well, we couldn't have had Skyrim without Morrowind.
Exactly.
And we couldn't have had Morrowind without like the classic RPGs like Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate 1, and like
Exactly. Like, you could say it
all
about
those
anything, really.
things.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I guess it tailors back to like the D&D Tolkien discussion where it's like, you couldn't have had D&D without Tolkien. And then it's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's part of why Baldur's Gate's so successful is because people are like hungry for something with a bit more substance. Like they don't want to just like walk around and like talk to NPCs that have the same voice as 300 NPCs.
That's why like Divinity was so good as well, is because, you know, it's like the map is finite, that's for sure, but like there is so many nooks and crannies, you know what I mean? Like you can just get in anywhere and like there's something to do there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the writing is much stronger. Like you can
like, yeah, it's open world, but like it's kind of like not at the same time. I don't know how to explain
it's not
it.
really an open world game
Because like it's limited, you know? It's not like, you know, Zelda, where it's like infinite spaces of like open plains and fields and like.
Yeah, well, I would prefer a more linear experience that's much more curated.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's like the appeal of sort of like Bloodborne as well, for example, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's got that open world feeling of like, you know, you could go to multiple different places at the same time, but there's always something to do, you know?
Yeah, like it's linear, but you can still you still have
Pick your
lots
own
to
path.
explore. And that gives the developers like, you know, if you're going to make an open world game that's like the size of Skyrim, but you've also got to make it dense and packed with detail and
sure.
like it rewards your exploration properly, and it also has great writing, great quest, great combat, great UI, great like progression system. It's like that game just doesn't exist. It's never going to come out.
I mean, Baldur's Gate's pretty close, but
Well, yeah. Congratulations, Baldur's Gate 3 for making
Hey, the big man.
a good game.
yeah. With that,
I'm gonna go and play more.
yeah, true. I'm gonna go to work. Fuck. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Peace out. Don't do drugs
Yeah,
unless you want to.
go and play Baldur's Gate if you're a gamer like me or like us.
Yeah, fucking nice.